Hello everyone.
And Mr. PlayStation 5, Craig being Craig.
Hello.
So, boys, we have another week done. Life is just flying by. It's almost Christmas. So, we're going to
Yes.
talk about video games and all the like. So, let's start off this week with what we usually start off, which is what we bought, what we've been playing. Let's start this week with you, Mr. Craigo.
So on the Switch, boys,
Yes.
nothing,
Ah.
nothing
Ah.
at all. It just sits there docked, waiting for its opportunity.
And it will never come.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. One day it will come again, right? On the PlayStation, I've now finished Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Lovely. And how did you find Spider-Man Miles Morales, Craigo?
It's really good, boys. It's really good. Really enjoyed it.
Insomniacs rarely miss.
Yeah, so I've done all the main quests. I've done all the side questy bits. Didn't do any of the crimes. I just couldn't be fucked with that shit. I did some of the collectibles. I stopped because like there's the ones where you're doing the sounds, and I was just like, this is just wank, isn't it? This is just. I was just like, you thought this was a good idea. How did this not get cut? So I gave up with that. I gave up. I think last week I was moaning about the power plants or whatever they are. I gave up with that as well. I was like, no, I can't be bothered with this. This is the good thing about PlayStation and not caring about trophies is I don't feel at all guilty if I'm just like I don't want to do this. I just don't do it. It's great.
So you now know what it's like for me playing Xbox.
I'm just like I don't want to do this. Fuck it.
It's exactly what I'm like with Xbox. Whereas like on PlayStation, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll go and do all the Horizon fucking hunting grounds to get the platinum.
No, fuck that.
But then
I'm like
on Xbox, I'm like,
challenges.
nope,
Nope.
can't be bothered. I will just can't be bothered on Xbox. But like, at least you know the flip now, boy.
Yeah. So I had my fun, did my side quests, and I was like, that's enough of that. Now I should be sat here telling you about Spider-Man 2. But Amazon have fucked on me, boys.
Oh no.
Yes. So that should have arrived yesterday. And it did the thing, Dave might know this, the thing on Amazon where it says it's been dispatched, but it doesn't say it's out for delivery. But it keeps on saying all day it's going to arrive before 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets to past 5, and then you see that it's actually the tracking ID is not an Amazon thing, it's a Royal Mail thing. You're like, that's not coming in, is it?
No.
And then it dawned on me, I was like, well, Royal Mail are scumbags and they fucking can't be bothered to work on a Sunday, so that ain't coming today either, is it? So we go again tomorrow. Hopefully Royal Mail decide they're going to do their jobs tomorrow and deliver my Spider-Man 2. That'd be great, right?
Well, hopefully. I mean, it's one of those. You've got quite a horrible couple of days now as well, haven't you?
So yeah, hopefully that arrives, and maybe I can start playing it on like Wednesday or something. So we'll see. But yeah, fuck you, Amazon. You let me down, you rat bastards. So in the meantime, I've been playing on the Xbox. Played some Vember, which I think Chris has played as well.
Yes.
This game, Dave, would make you violently ill.
Okay.
It is a point and click cooking game about a Indian family that's moved to Canada, and you just do their little story over. It takes about an hour. You just cook some meals basically during it, and you just click through the dialogue. It's not great. I'll be honest with you.
I assume it's an
not.
easy 1,000. That's why you're playing it.
It is a pretty easy 1,000. I
It
only got
is.
like 600G because I couldn't be bothered to redo some of the stuff. Like, yeah, so.
Yeah, it is an easy 1,000. I think it took like an hour and a half. I did one playthrough, just kind of without a guide, and then just use a good old maca to mop up. But it's not great. I feel like it actually reviewed pretty well, and I'm like, I don't really see it. I don't really get it. The story's not really that like interesting. The gameplay's like, you're just cooking these meals. And a lot of time it doesn't really explain to you what you're meant to be doing. It's a strange one.
You can
Very
say what
strange.
it
But
is,
yeah.
Craig. It's indie Game Pass fodder.
Well, yeah, it's indie trash, definitely. It's an 81 apparently on OpenCritic, which I'd say is
I
incredibly generous.
I can't remember where I put it in my 55 game ranking of the year.
Yeah, I'd say
I think it's
81 is.
I think it's in the 30 odds. I think I've got it.
I'd rather
it's
not play a game and play a game like that.
Yeah,
I'd rather go for a run and play that.
Yeah, save yourself that there,
Mm.
Davey. Definitely. But I did get the completion, which is something, I guess, right? That's
So
something
I
you
to
will
guess.
cling
play.
on to.
So you will play an awful game for an hour and a half for 1000G, but you won't do 20 minutes of Spider-Man sound files, Craig. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, but I mean, in fairness, I didn't realise that this was quite as bad because I said it reviewed quite well.
I don't.
Paul Pengy had played
Are
it.
you sounding? Are you becoming Chris Pengelly?
I like the odd indie every now and again.
Yeah, see, like I said, I just think where I'm gonna have a look and see where I've actually ranked it for what I've played this year.
Yeah, it was completion number 56. So I think it's actually
yeah.
57 because it doesn't include Call of Duty, but I do. And then I also played. I started today some Forza Motorsport on the Xbox as well. I'm quite enjoying it so far. I've only done the opening and then the first cup thing, which I of course won because I'm fucking incredible, right, boys?
Uh-huh.
I chose the Subaru because I've played a Forza game before. I know that four-wheel drive is normally OP as fuck. So you got to go for the four-wheel drive car, right, boys?
Oh yeah.
That's the sensible move. Yeah, no, I'm liking it so far. I'm playing it on the ray tracing E mode thing.
Yeah, the
Look,
ray tracing performance.
that's it. That's very pretty. Seems very stable. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's quite nice. Also, I normally play the Horizon series, and it's quite nice playing something a bit more like you kind of almost got to think a bit more like strategic than that, because obviously in Horizon it's all about just being really aggressive and just like trying to smash through the checkpoints and cut the corners and that. Whereas this, you've got to kind of think about what you're doing a bit more and like, oh, there's just two cars in front of me, but I need to make sure I don't just go like tearing off the track just to overtake them or smash into them and get a time penalty. So it's quite a nice place that we got actually, think and plan about what you're doing ahead of time. So I'll carry on to play more of that. And then the only thing I played is Sackboy. Which I don't know if me and Dave want to talk about together because we've been playing that on the old co-op.
We'll talk when we get to my section.
I was
We'll
going to
talk
say,
about the shenanigans.
how has Dave been playing that with you?
We will talk about the shenanigans when we get to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, but that's all I've played so far. So yeah, it should be some Spider-Man too, but unfortunately not.
How about you, Pengu?
Right, so on retro and other, I've played nothing and bought nothing. On Xbox, I feel I've played nothing, and I have definitely not bought anything on Xbox. Then on Switch, I played a little more of the Watermelon game, which is now out on like the US and European eShops and stuff. It is still in Japanese as well. It says this game is in Japanese, stuff like that. But you can now buy it on the UK eShop if you want. I think it's $2.99 on the UK eShop if you are thinking about doing that.
Have you made a watermelon yet, Chris?
I've made a watermelon, but I only got like 2,500 points. I didn't, I think I think it has an online leaderboard. Again, everything's in Japanese, which obviously the number one's got 9,999, and then the next one is 9,999 is well in the top three on that. But the other game I've been playing on Switch, because it is one of my pickups this week, and I feel I've not had that many pickups recently. I feel like Watermelon game was like the first pickup for like ages, and that was like using gold points. But got Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which arrived on Friday. My Spider-Man didn't come on Friday, so I just played some Mario Wonder. I've done the first world of that game, Really good. It's like I'm not a big 2D Mario person. I think again, like growing up with Sega and Sonic and stuff, in like the Wii U one was like
Don't say his
not
name, Chris.
what.
Don't do it. Don't say Sonic.
Yeah, and the Wii U Mario, I wasn't keen on New Super Mario Bros. U. I know. Do you like that one, Dave? New Super Mario Bros.
I
U.
like Super Mario U, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't keen on that. I did play the one on like the DS and stuff. They just were a bit bland. Where this is like feels more like Odyssey and stuff like that, with all the weird stuff with the Wonder Seeds and how it goes all like mental some of the times. Like the second world, like you got piranha plants singing and dancing. It's all very odd, but it's great platforming, fun. But I've only done the first world of the game, so I'm actually gonna do like a world at a time, and then in between playing other stuff, or play it in handheld or whatever, like watching something.
Oh yeah.
That's how mostly I played that. And then on PlayStation, I've got sort of free pickups. So I got from you, Dave, gave me Pac-Man World Repacked,
I did.
which I've installed, not played yet, but I did play the original on PS1, and it was great. It was like a weird 3D platformer sort of thing. So I do look forward to playing that at some
You are
point.
welcome, Chris.
Yeah,
We'll tell everyone why I've done that in
yeah.
a minute.
But then I have got like Sackboy installed. It's like, oh, I could play some Pac-Man, some Sackboy, and stuff like that. Sort of thing. If I wanted a 3D platformer to play, I pick up off myself. So after our last podcast on Sunday, but I did a Dave thing, but not drunk and not on Amazon, but on eBay. I was looking at PS5 games. I don't know why,
Thanks for
and I
making me
ended up
sound like I'm an alcoholic, Chris, but carry on.
yeah, and I bought Atlas Fallen for the PS5, which I've installed but not played it yet.
Is that a Souls-like?
No, it's not. I what?
You sure it's not?
I'm pretty sure it's not Souls-like. I'm pretty sure it's not Souls. I remember watching Mike play it on Kinda Funny, and it doesn't look that great. It kind of reminds me of the weird, like Forspoken, Babylon's Fall, Immortals of Avium. Like the really like 7 out of 10 video games that I really love, sort of thing.
This is by the people who made the search, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
And those are Souls like, aren't they?
That is a Souls-like, but I don't think this one is a Souls-like.
Well,
I
when you
think
play
it is
us, let
more.
us know.
Yeah, if I ever play it, I'll let you know.
I love
So,
how it's already if I ever play it. It's not even,
I
not even
got it
planning on it.
installed, and it's only like I think 10 hours long or something called according to how long to beat. So yeah, so I played that, and then the other pickup was obviously Spider-Man, which came on Saturday. Not the Friday; it's a day late. Which I'm just cut to 10 hours in the game.
You're an animal,
So
Chris.
far,
Already?
yeah.
Only came yesterday, Chris.
Yeah, so I played yesterday and today.
Bloody hell. You went to work as well. Bloody hell, Chris.
Yeah, so
Christ.
I played 10 hours of Spider-Man 2. I'm only on like mission 10 of the story, which there's 30 odd because you can see in the like your app on your phone like which missions you got. Because I've been doing all the side quests and stuff when I unlock them in the boroughs and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, I'm in Hell's Kitchen now. Oh, there's this Prowler mission. There's this photo mission. So I've been doing them like all the missions in that like borough, and then moving on, sort of thing. And if I come to Queens and there's a story mission in Queens, I'll do the story mission and then move on. So so far I've mainly been playing as Peter because most of the story missions and stuff have revolved around him, then more than Miles, and the main plot obviously is going to most probably focus on Peter as well, sort of thing. Yeah, and some of the early story beats in this game, like really good. Like Insomniac is definitely like up their game in like the story aspects. Like the gameplay on like Spider-Man and Miles Morales is like good, but like they've gone more like God of War or Naughty Dog gaming sort of close to that in the caliber of the story of the game. So that's why Mario's mostly not going to get much played at the moment, because Spider-Man is so good from what I've played so far.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and November, I've got number 36 of 61 things I've played this year, which is above Ravenlock and below Oxenfree 2, if you want that information.
You're a madman to have played that many games.
Well, that's also including, so like, I've got the Forza DLC
That's
on
still
that
pretty
list.
crazy, Chris. There's only 10
Yeah,
months in a year. That's like more than a
that's
game a week.
insane.
Yeah, so
Lovely. Well, we'll get to it. It was just topic one of the show. Topic top tots. My madness. So let's begin with the non-madness, shall we, boys? So on Switch, nothing. Still in its carry case. Would like to play Mario, but not enough to spend £50 on it today. Okay, so nothing
Yeah.
on Switch. On Xbox,
Thing is, in 6 months' time, Dave, it will still be £50.
but that's what I mean. It's like maybe in 6 months' time I'll fancy a Mario game, or I'll have maybe like I've got at least 2 holidays in the next like 9 months that are like 9-hour flights. Perfect time to play a Mario game all the way through, you know. But
and I think it's only about 7 hours long, so you could even finish it on your flight.
there we go. See. But on Xbox, I've just played some Jedi Survivor, which I bought. I bought last week. I remember talking about it last week. Yeah, I'm a couple missions in. It's pretty fun. It's like the first one. I like that it doesn't reset you completely. I must say, I don't think it runs particularly well in Eva mode. I think there is a real sacrifice on Eva mode. You either pick it looks pretty but runs kind of jank, or runs well and looks kind of jank. So it's still not an awful looking game, and that's completely nitpicky because this is the first time I've had a HDR 4K screen. So I think I'm actually witnessing the shenanigans a little bit more. But really good game. No doubt that it's going to be one of my favorite games this year.
I'm still really curious what that game's gonna look like on the PS4, Xbox One port they're doing.
I would imagine pretty ugly, but I mean they managed to make Hogwarts somehow run. So I don't know. God knows. I mean it's just easy money in it. So it's like it'll be 30 frames and it'll be like barely 1080p is what they'll do. It'll be like low PC settings, right? But yeah, played some. I haven't played anything else. I think last week I talked about my first experience with Forza, and I haven't gone back. Just hasn't really. Just I don't know. I'm not in the mood for that type of driving game right now. I mean, eventually I will be because I love racing games, but right now I'm just not in the mood. It hasn't caught me. I haven't played anything else on Game Pass. On PS4, I am still playing Need for Speed, and I am like, I think I'm something like 7 trophies away from the platinum. Actually, quite a fun game. Like, it's not anything good. Like, it's such a 7 out of 10 racing game, but it's been kind of nice, to be honest with you, just to kind of play a kind of dumb, drive fast racing game. I've got the handle of the drifting now. It's not too bad. It's like the only missions that are a bit of a pain is anything that requires you to get like chased by the police. But other than that, it's pretty good. Like, it's a pretty harmless game. It's obviously on Game Pass. It's on EA Play. Like, if you miss the older Need for Speeds, like the Carbons and the original Most Wanted, like it's not an awful game. Like it really is. It's a very easy completion on Xbox and on PlayStation. So I think you can, if you basically finish everything in the game, like you just finish the story bits of the game, I think you can get pretty much all of the trophies and achievements. So yeah, that's pretty fun. So let's get to the shenanigans. So obviously last week we talked about the PlayStation 5, which resulted in me then purchasing a PlayStation 5 because I'm a horrible, horrible human being.
How many days did you last after the podcast? Was it literally next day?
One day. So I bought PlayStation 5. I found one for $299. My girlfriend was like, "You can do whatever you want." Like she's like, "I buy so much crap all the time that you can do whatever you want." That's one of the many reasons why I love this woman. But she was like, "I would really love it if you got it in pink." So I have got the Nova Pink controller and console covers. They had a deal on PS Plus. I think it's still live for another 5 days. If you buy 2 hardware accessories, this includes the console, but I didn't get it via that. You get 30%, £30 off if you're a PlayStation Plus member. So if you want to buy, say right now you want to buy 2 controllers or a controller and a cover, it would be 70 quid ish instead of 100 quid. So it's a pretty good deal. Like if people are on the lookout or they want to buy a couple controllers, sell one of them, or that kind of shenanigan, I think it's a pretty good time, pretty good thing to do. Or if you want to buy the camera and a controller, you save some money that way. So I've got them. It actually looks really good. I actually really like changing the color on the PlayStation. Like it's a small change, but it's kind of reinvigorating. Actually, it looks quite nice. As for pickups, my girlfriend lovingly bought me Spider-Man 2 the other day because I wasn't planning to play it because I was like, you know what, I don't really have £70 at the moment to spend on it. Like I've just bought the actual console, so I'm like, you know what, I've got a backlog. We'll go through that. But she bought it for me because she's a sweetie pie who wants to keep me quiet, I think. But I haven't touched it yet. It's installed. I've just been really busy this weekend, so I might play it tonight. Get on with it. As for PS5 games I've been playing, I have played a little bit of Spider-Man Remastered. I started doing the DLC because I've already got the platinum for the main game, but I just haven't done the DLC. So I was playing some of that before getting to. So we'll see if I continue that. And then with Krago, I've been playing quite a lot of Sackboy, a big adventure in co-op. We've done a couple nights of that with Krago, and it's pretty good. To be honest, I think it's actually quite underrated.
Yeah, it is. It is very fun.
So fun, really fun. We've had a right laugh, and we just fucking around.
I think you compared it to Mario 3D World, didn't you, beforehand? And I'm like, yeah, this is miles better. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. But yeah, it is great for the matching everything to the music. The levels to the music is brilliant.
Yeah, we've had like Uptown Funk. That was a fun level. We've had a couple of
others
like
all
that.
Sorts of shit. Yeah.
I think it's a really good game. I think it's a really, really underrated game. I know why it's underrated. But I think for a PS Plus pick, I think it's a pretty good time for a multiplayer game.
Yeah, I think it's something that you definitely want to play in co-op. I will say that. I think that's probably part of the reason why we've enjoyed it so much is playing in co-op. I think on your own you maybe get a little bit bored of it, but yeah, it is perfect co-op game. And obviously, it being on Plus is great because it's just that shared kind of library, isn't it?
And yeah, and like obviously we're going to talk to Craig later about his second week experience with using Plus. And all the good things about that. But yeah, that's kind of it. The only other pickup I have at all is I've bought, and I think we've all bought, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed to play this Wednesday on live stream. So keep your ears and eyes out for a live stream this Wednesday in the evening of Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Should be quite funny. I'm really hoping that Pengels is just a ghost every time. But yes, and obviously as part of
I can't wait for Chris to be hilariously bad at it.
Well, it's either that or he's going to be amazing at it, and obviously it's going to be from my point of view, so I need to be good. So I might have to crack out the tutorial for that tomorrow night. But yeah, God. But yeah, one of the reasons obviously why Chris has got Pac-Man that I bought him was the deal I did say on the podcast. If I were to buy another PS5, I would buy the boys a game. So I have bought the boys a game. So Chris got Pac-Man repacked, and Craig got, what did you get, Craig?
Lego 2K Drive, is that what you said?
Yes, Lego 2K Drive. So there we go. Craig's got his first physical PS5 game, which he was hoping was going to be Spider-Man, but he has been let down.
Yes.
And Pengels has got a classic platformer. Very hard to buy games for Chris Pengelly, by the way. When you get onto it, because you're like,
he has owned and played everything in the world.
Like I was literally sat there like for probably an hour, going like, has he played that? I think he's played that. Has he played that? I'm not sure if he's played that. So yeah.
If he's not played it, he's definitely bought it and sold it at least once during his life. You know what I mean? That's...
Right. And then it was the temptation to buy you both Lord of the Rings Gollum was so high.
That's what I thought, and one of the guys in work was like, "Oh, he's going to get you Gollum, isn't he?" And he was like, "Yay!"
No, it was the temptation was really high. I'll be honest, especially Craig. But I didn't want to ruin his PS5 experience so quickly. We finally, some say that I'm a madman, but some might also say that this has been my long game plan to get Craig on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Say that.
Just saying it's worked. He's one of us now.
I think I'm just a trendsetter, boys, because everyone's PlayStations were dead. I turn mine on, bang, revitalize.
Well, me and you have been playing co-op, and that's really been the killer. Because I was kind of like, I was sat there like, oh well, I could, I mean, we've talked about PS5, I could buy one. And the second you said Sackboys co-op, Dave, it was purchased. I'd clicked on it. I was like,
That's
oh
all
well,
it takes.
co-op, you say?
Yeah.
I'm always yearning for co-op. It's the only way to get that platinum is co-op as well. So.
No one would get any easy platinums, would they?
Fucking Penguins didn't talk about his easy platinum as well. I noticed he admitted that from the games he's played. He played
Yeah.
like
Hey, what
And
was
22.
that, Chris? What was that?
I played Autumn's Journey again and got the platinum for it.
Because he's an absolute scumbag.
When you say again, what did you play it on something else before? Or...
I got the 1000G on Xbox as well for the game.
What is it, Chris? Explain it to me.
It's a visual novel which you can put on fast forward and skip all like text, so it takes like 20 minutes to get the platinum or the 1000G of it. So
This doesn't sound worth doing, does it? Really?
no, but it put me on 64 platinums, and then Spider-Man will be number 65, even though I should have 65 platinums already because of God of War, a bit like your Call of
Chris,
Duty.
you should have 5 platinums, not
Mm.
65 platinums.
Yeah.
You don't even have the Miles platinum, do you?
No, because remember it was broken PS5, so
But you haven't gone back.
no.
Because you hate video games.
I just never had.
So what you're saying is I'm the only Spider-Man fan.
No, because I'm gonna have 3 Spider-Man
I'll have
platinums
4.
out of 5.
I'll go back and replay Miles twice more just to spite you and get all 5.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Mm.
But yes.
And actually, I forgot Ape Academy as well. I played some of that as well. Which came to the highest version of Plus.
Yeah, when Chris is disregarding games, you know it's how important it is to him.
Well, I was playing that because I thought it'd be a pretty easy platinum, and then I got 92% of the trophies, and I'm like, I need to grind now.
The second one
this
was a
random
real grind.
And it's like I can't be bothered to do this. So I finished the story on it, and I got 92% of the trophies. But yeah, even I can't be bothered to get the platinum of this because it's randomness.
I'm looking at Chris's platinums now, and it is utter dog shit, isn't it?
His
There's a
platinums-
moment in your life, Chris.
his
I'm guessing it's the
platinums-
Vita coming out because that's what
Oh,
it looks like. It's basically when you've just given up with life and you just accepted that this is you now because this is just hideous.
The peak of the previous version of Pod of War, Chris was blasting out 1 or 2 of them a week. Like it is grim reading Chris's PlayStation platinums. This might even be worse than his Xbox achievements. Actually, his platinums.
I think there's more of them, so it really
Yeah,
does.
I think it is. And again, like we've tried, we did videos and videos and videos. We're like, Chris, play a real game for the 50th, and you were like, no, I refuse. And we'll play this trash game instead. And I'm like, Chris, but think of the content. No, and you're like, oh, thank you. But yes,
I think my 60th on PlayStation was Last of Us.
you have to
Part
make
1.
the literal promise to me on this podcast, Chris, that 75 and 100 have to be real games.
Yeah.
They have to be. You can't have
Yeah.
Platinum 100 be like fucking Life is Strange or something. It needs to
What's
be
wrong
like
with Life is
an
Strange?
actual game that you've actually
Yeah.
had to try.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Don't
Is
think
it?
there's much hope of that. No.
No.
I've already got my 100 planned.
Mm.
My 100 will be Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition.
Nice.
I just got to get 48 more before I get there.
Now,
Now, Chris could do that in a night. But
I'm just worried about 65 being Spider-Man 2. That's the thing. Now.
see how you have to get it. You have to go back and get God of War. And then you're gonna have to. What else do we need? What's the PlayStation Essentials for Platinums? Have you got one of the Horizon ones yet?
No.
So you got Horizon 1. Obviously, you've got Last of Us because that's really easy. Last of Us Part 2 Remastered will probably be a super easy one as well, won't it? So
It must be the same trophy list, which isn't actually hard. I just didn't bother with the PS4 version.
Even though you like that game a lot and it's like highly rated on your 100 list.
Yeah.
Lovely. Right, well, let's get on to the next topic of the show. Topic. So we've talked about Maya Madness. Let's talk all things Chris Pengeli.
Yes.
So Chris Pengeli,
Yeah.
I want you to rank the Spider-Man games from what you've played so far.
Okay, right. So Maximum Carnage is number 10. Oh, wait, are you just talking about the PlayStation Insomniac
Just
one?
the modern ones, yeah.
Okay. Ooh. I would say I would go Spider-Man 2018 third, then Miles, because Miles is a better character than Peter. And even though my PS5 was broke at the time, when it did work in good play, like obviously the dual sense and stuff like that, pretty good. And then the story so far in Spider-Man 2, like I said, it's been really good. It's nearly up there with like a Naughty Dog or Santa Monica and like storytelling from Insomniac, which normally they're just like, your Ratchet and Clank cookie cut sort of stories and that, and it's way above that, and like even the first and second mission of the story is like really good. It could all go Pete Tong, in the last 20 story missions or whatever, sort of thing. When maybe it gets a bit of a grinding all the side stuff, but so far it hasn't. So yeah, that's my order.
I felt like you've been quite insulting for Insomniac. I thought the storytelling of the first two was pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but it's not Naughty
Better
Dog
than
or
well, it's better than
Santa
Last of
Monica.
Us, Chris. Let's not have this discussion again.
So
What I feel like you're saying, Chris, is this new one depressing? Is that what it is?
it's not no, not depressing.
I mean, the first one's quite depressing.
Yeah, the first one's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But like I said, the only thing with this one so far, again, I've only done 10 of like 30 story missions. It has focused way more on Peter, and the story seems to going to be more Peter than Miles, sort of thing. Like I've barely played as Miles so far, so
Boo.
yeah.
I think we all agree that Miles is better than the first one, don't we?
Yeah, I love Miles Morales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Miles Morales is the perfect, just Christmas time off game. Like if you were to get a PlayStation for Christmas, and you were sat there thinking, what can I play for the week that I'm not going back to work or school or college? I would be like, yeah, Miles Morales is pretty high up that list. Like it's a pretty vibing little game. It's not too long. Doesn't overstay its welcome. The side content is okay if you want to do it. Pardon me, but yeah. Okay, Pinky. Next thing. My docket. Oh, sorry, everyone. Swallowing is a difficulty for me at the moment. I've got here PS4 to PS5 versus Xbox One to Series chat, because Craig has now finally joined me and Pengy on having played everything. So the question.
This is the first time where all of us have owned all three.
This is the
current
first time
systems.
where Craig has joined us in our madness. You're correct.
Yeah.
Welcome, Craig. Come in. The water is lovely and warm. So the question, the way I've sort of aimed this question, Craig, how do you feel? The difference is the jump is from PS4 to PS5 in comparison to the Xbox One X and the Series X.
I'd say very similar, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say hardware and like accessories is a massive jump up on PlayStation, definitely.
Okay.
I think the controller is so much better. But I still feel it's weird. I still feel like more comfortable in the Xbox controller. I was actually thinking about this just like before we were recording, how like I was playing Forza. I was like, God, like playing this on like a PlayStation controller, I feel would be a lot worse. Just because that not having the offsetted sticks, and that would feel so much more difficult. But yeah, I'd say that's one thing. Like the peripherals are just so much better on the PlayStation. I remember when I opened up my PlayStation 4 and that fucking stupid inline headset thing they gave you, and just always being insulted, just being like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I remember people using them back on the 360 days on Call of Duty, and they were shit. And I'm like, "Well, why is this in the box? Like, this shouldn't be anywhere near anything." So yeah, I think that's much better. I also think the fact that they now have basically their own equivalent to Game Pass is a huge step on for me. Them not having that is pretty much what killed the PlayStation 4 for me, because I was just I just prefer gaming that way. So that them having this kind of massive library where I can just give them £100 for a year and just play all these first party games on there is like, yeah, that's something that's massively improved. And I imagine that's something which they'll keep improving as well, because I don't think subscription services are going away anytime soon. But yeah, I do think they're both kind of just like in terms of like games, like they're definitely like more of the same but better. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Miles Morales is more Spider-Man but better. Forza Horizon 5 is more Forza Horizon 4 but better. And I imagine you could probably run through it. You know, God of War Ragnarok is probably more God of War but better. Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah.
Is that the right? Is that the second
Yeah,
one?
Yeah,
Is that the
that's the
second
second one.
one?
Yeah,
Is better than whatever the first one was called, I suspect. But better.
0
Zero
Dawn.
Dawn.
Yeah. um. So yeah, I guess I think what they probably both need is some IPs, some new IPs that are going to kind of like define the generation for them. I guess that's kind of what they both need because
Yeah, I
a
kind
lot
of.
of these are continuations of IPs that kind of
Mm.
what made their last gens, aren't they? So.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think Xbox was hoping that was going to be Starfield. And
Oh no, well, I don't think Redfall, but I think Starfield definitely is like a big step
yeah,
forward for in
I
that
think
sense for
obviously
them.
we don't know if it's a new IP yet until they do a sequel or they do more with it. But it feels like that Starfield was going to be an IP going forward, doesn't it?
Oh yeah,
And PlayStation, you're right, they haven't really had that. I think you can look to like a Returnal, which is just not the same caliber as a Starfield, as good as I'm sure that game is.
fuck roguelikes, am I right?
But
Mm.
it's just not the same, is it? So yeah, for PlayStation in particular, I am very interested to see when the next non-sequel is going to come
Yeah,
out.
because I was thinking like last gen you had like late into the gen you had Ghost of Tsushima of a new IP, but you think Sucker Punch are just going to do Ghost of Tsushima 2, or whatever. So that's more of
But even
the same.
you think that PlayStation? I know God of War wasn't a new franchise, but it was such a big kind
Yeah.
of step and like change that it pretty much felt like it, right?
Mm.
And obviously Horizon was a new franchise
Well,
Yeah,
well
that
towards
was
the end
so
of the gem.
Spider-Man was like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like you're kind of
I
hoping
guess
now that
it's
Wolverine is probably the first
Wolverine
one.
is the
Yeah.
next one.
Mm.
Even that's obviously a license, but then it's obviously of the stuff they have announced. It's basically like the Fair games and the is it Concord the game's called?
Yeah, Concord, and you've got Marathon, but that's on everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the live service direction is very interesting to me
Mm.
because I personally think they're putting way too much into it. But
yeah. I imagine they at this very moment probably realizing that and trying to shift the
yeah, and
plans
obviously
as quickly
with
as they
Jim
can.
retiring, like depending on who comes in, it'd be interesting to see if they do make a shift back to some of the smaller first parties that they used to do. Because the PS3, not really. The PS4 was really good for your Gravity Rush Remastered, Gravity Rush 2, those type of games, and like Killzone was still knocking around and things like that they could still sort of bring out of the woodwork. Concrete Genie's another one, but it's one of those where I'm like, yeah, with PlayStation, I mean, I'd like them to maintain course. And it's like you were saying about the controller. The truth is, for me, like I'm like that with genres. I would struggle to play a really deep driving game on PlayStation, and like if Gran Turismo just didn't click with me. And I think again the controller is a big reason for that. And then the flip is obviously like these story-based actiony games on Xbox. I just think they do work better on PlayStation with the controllers sort of like specialities, like the feedbacky
Oh
triggers
yeah,
and
the
all that stuff.
haptics for Spider-Man
Yeah, like
2 are
Spider-Man
really good.
works perfectly for
Especially like
that.
some of the things that you're doing and like and how the controller reacts to it and stuff like that is really good. Obviously, like we have got a few other changes. You're saying, like God of War was a franchise. It's changed. Like I know it's not a very big one, but like Helldivers 2 was a top-down isometric game. Now it's going to a third-person shooter, sort of thing. So it's changing
But it's not a
direction. But
new
it's
IP. That's
no,
the
it's
point
not.
I think Craig was making. And it's
Yeah,
like a no effect. Like I like Helldivers 1 and I'm
yeah,
going to play Helldivers 2, but like the last thing that PlayStation needs is another third person action game. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I know it's different because it's a shooter, but it's not a budget. It's a budget shooter. It's £35 to buy the thing.
yeah.
Let's be honest, I'd be amazed if that game's not on Plus. Like I would be amazed if it's not on
Mm,
Plus. So
mm.
it's yeah. I wonder because obviously the games that we're excited for on PlayStation are the known quantities. Like I'm super excited to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, for
Oh yeah.
example. Super excited. Like I'm excited to see what Wolverine is because it's at this point Insomniac is arguably their best studio. So like I
Mm.
can't wait. Like I literally have not played a bad Insomniac game. I've got 3 platinums of Insomniac games on PS5. All 3 of them are great games, and I'm probably going to get a 4th in the next month. So
Mm.
it's like, yeah, like you can't argue with Insomniac. Like I trust them to come out and do something with Wolverine. I'd love them to bring back Sunset Overdrive. I know that they can now, so I'm hoping that Sunset Overdrive does get a PS5 sequel, or they try and turn that into an IP. Which I would love the irony of Sunset Overdrive being this Unreal PlayStation IP. Because I remember me and you talked about Sunset Overdrive when it came out, Chris, on the original podcast, and like
Yeah,
me and you literally both said the phrase, if this was a PS4 game, people would literally bum the crap out of it.
yeah.
Like, so like something like that, I think. And I would trust Insomniac. I mean, Naughty Dog, obviously, they are rumored to be working on a new IP.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be interested to see what that is. Hopefully, it's not as depressing as everything else, but who knows? Obviously,
Yeah,
we
and
don't.
obviously the big one really is Cory Barlog's sci-fi game. I think is the big.
Potentially, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
he did great work on God of War, so
yeah.
it's it's that type of game. But I think that's the focus. I don't think the live service will work for them. And
Mm.
Xbox is actually really interesting for me. Like, and I'd love to see hear your peeps' views on it because they own so much now that like, is it too much for them to like organize? Because they could feasibly not have third parties anymore, Xbox, and still have so many games that like you're never getting bored. So like it's a real interesting because I think we all want less Redfalls. Like we don't want a game like Redfall to come out again that's so bad at launch. Like there's no reason to do it. Like so they have all these Activision IPs and Blizzard IPs now. They have all the Bethesda IPs now. They have their own IP. Like it's very full on now. Like I would hate to be the person that has to manage all that. So fair play to Big Phil. But yeah, what kind of direction are you hoping that Xbox goes, Krogo?
I guess they just need to just start doing this game every quarter like they said they wanted to.
Mm.
Which it looks like they're obviously heading that way. They've had Starfield and Forza very close to each other this year at the end, obviously. They had Hi-Fi Rush at the start and then Redfall in the middle. And obviously, I know Redfall was a heaping pile of trash, but you can see their plans there. And even for what they've got announced next year, so they've got Avowed, Hellblade, they've got the Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, which I know is not for everyone, but it's something they've got
We've still
announced.
got Perfect Dark. We've still got Fable.
Yeah,
We've
that's
still
not
got
announced for next year though.
Contraband. Like,
But for next year, you've got that. You've got like Towerfall. So you can see you can see what they're trying to do there, can't you? If they're
They got that weird dungeon game, which I think they're publishing.
that's Towerfall,
They-
yeah.
No, there's a different one.
Oh really?
Yeah, it had a weird art style with it. I can't remember what it was called. It's called Dungeons
yeah,
or
I know the one you mean.
something.
Isn't it the one that's like weird, like colors?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know the one you
yeah. Because you both made a joke when we did the podcast. Like, I love this thing because it's all dungeons.
mean. Yeah, right. But
I think it's ID and Xbox published. It's not like a
yeah.
first party thing, but exclusive or timed or some
What,
sort of thing.
and what do you want from Xbox, Chris? Obviously, I know you're probably the most vocal against the Xbox sometimes.
Yeah, basically what they've been doing, like with Starfield, Forza. I know, like November, they don't have a first party like Game Pass game, but they have obviously some big ones in Persona and like a Dragon, sort of day one sort of thing. Yes, so just like carry on sort of doing that because that keep me in the thing. Like just having indies is fine, but it's gonna have some those big games. So.
Lovely. Yeah, it's always a strange one, I think, for me with Xbox because Game Pass is such a beast that it's becoming the Netflix event for me now with the Xbox. So like I come back to the Xbox to play the big series that comes out. You know what I mean? Like so, like I'm playing Starfield, and stuff like that. So it's interesting. Obviously, I just want Forza Horizon every year. I think that would make me happy. I'd love Gears and Halo to excite me again, but I don't know. I don't know if you can. Like that's a whole podcast for another day. I don't know what you can do with Gears and Halo to make them what they were. So I don't know whether it's better just to not, you know?
Yeah, I don't think I could get excited for another Gears, because Gears 5 wasn't actually that bad.
Yeah, I really like Gears 5.
See, I
I'm
Yeah,
didn't
excited
at
for
all.
Gears 6.
yeah. So Gears 6 I would be excited for, but yeah, Halo, the next Halo, I don't think I would really. be that bothered about.
You played like 100 hours of Halo Infinite, Peng.
Yeah, yeah.
Multiplayer. I mean, I haven't
Multiplayer.
played more than 20 minutes of the single player, and I would consider myself quite a big Halo fan. But again, like I don't know, it's weird. I'm a very strange person, so I don't know. You can't really take all you know about me is that I'm not going to play The Last of Us again, ever, and probably going to buy and sell 8 more consoles before I move away.
Yes, I could see that.
And I suppose the last real question for this kind of, because this is we had such a good episode last week. We had like a real structure. Whereas this week nothing has happened. To be honest with you, a couple of games have come out, but nothing has happened this week. So there's not the news stories for us to talk about. So it's a bit more of a sort of casual chat. Is the elephant in the room? I think for me and Chris, more than Craig, but I think Craig can still see the elephant from the corner of the room. Is what's going on with Nintendo? So what is so next year we're gonna get the Switch 2. But what does the Switch 2 look like? Is it just going to be a more powerful Switch? Is there going to be a
I
gimmick?
think I think it's just gonna be a more powerful Switch. It's weird because I think Nintendo have cornered themselves into like a thing like you used to have the handheld, you used to have the console, you could try different things, but with they put it all into one. The Switch has been so ridiculously popular, like it still could theoretically top the PS2 for the best-selling system ever. I don't think it will, but it could do. So they've got to basically just do that again, just make it more powerful. I think but then that's kind of boring. But that's what the PS5 and the Series X kind of are as well. It's the same thing, but more powerful. So why can't Nintendo do that?
I think it's just because they've never done it. I think that's
Well, they
the
have NES, the SNES, the 64, but
But even then, like that was 30 years ago, Chris.
yeah.
Like it's not. It's so difficult for Nintendo because I think you are right. I think they hope it's an iPhone situation where it's like, oh, it's the new iPhone, so I buy the new iPhone, right? Or as opposed to the Switch U, which is the absolute worst thing they could do. But yeah, do you think there's anything, Craig, that could really convince you to get a Switch 2 at launch or within the first year?
No.
It's a
Definitely
difficult one.
not. I just I don't know. I feel like the Switch it's okay. It's fine. The games are all fine. I've people get really excited for them, and I think people I don't know they get like reviewed to the high hell. Like I look at the Switch games, and I'm like, if it's a 9, then it's probably an 8. You know, what I mean, if it's an 8, it's probably a
Yeah,
7.
because you said like Sackboy was better in 3D World. I've not played
100%.
Sackboy, but 3D World is like it's in my top 100 games of all time because it's fantastic. So it's like, but then it's also just what you want, sort of thing. Like if I want a 2D platformer, I know Mario Wonder is going to be like the best there is. If I want a kart racer, Mario Kart 9 or whatever, I know it's going to be great and stuff like that. If I want a strategy RPG, I know Fire Emblem is going to be fantastic, sort of thing. So it's like. But I wouldn't go to Xbox for a 2D platformer or a strategy RPG sort of thing. I'd go there for a Forza Motorsport and stuff. Again, that's one of the reasons why I own all three systems, sort of thing. But then, like, if you use the 3D world thing, there is 3D platformers on PlayStation, but yeah, so.
Yeah, I think Nintendo's a funny one because for most of us, Nintendo is such a nostalgia play. Like it really is. Like I know that this is the example that's always used, Chris, but like it's the Disney, it's the
Yeah.
Star Wars, it's the Lord of the Rings. Like me and Craig will play. So if you took the Lord of the Rings license off of Shadow of Mordor, it would still
Yeah.
be a fun game, but it wouldn't be the game that we love because it's the world of Tolkien, right? And like
Yeah.
Nintendo has this pull because it was such a beginning force in video games for us, and I think we see that with Sony as well. In like especially when we like see like the amount of rants I've had about IGN giving a Sony game a 10 for no other reason, but like it's nostalgia. That's what it is. Like they're really aligned with a brand and characters. And I
Well,
think
they are set everyone really recently. If they're 7 for Starfield, 8 for
I
Spider-Man.
think you just ignore IGN. That's the thing. It's just an example. But like, yeah, I think with Nintendo, like for me personally, like the Nintendo console will always be the Mario Kart machine, the Mario Party machine, and the one or two other games that I like playing. Like I will always buy the Pokemon game, right? DLC it's never done it for me with Pokemon, so I'm not fussed. But like if they announced a Pokemon game that's coming, like a Pokemon mainline game, sorry, that's coming like next month, I'd buy it. Like I know I'll play it. Like it's
And
just
that's
one of
the
those.
other thing. Like no one else has really done a monster catching game that well. Only in like Game Freak has
Well,
sort of thing.
it's not even that because there are really like Cassette Beast is great on Game Pass. Like it's arguably better than a Pokemon game, but it's not Pokemon. Like Pokemon is Pokemon. Like the nostalgia of Pokemon is what it is. Like the nostalgia of Mario is because, like you said earlier, there's a Sonic game. There's a really well-reviewed, good Sonic game that's come out this week that's on Xbox and PlayStation and doesn't have Mario, but people still aren't playing it because they're playing Spider-Man or they're playing Starfield still, or they're playing. You know what I mean? Like it's just you gravitate to this sort of like location because you could be like Craig used to be and play everything on Xbox. Like there is platformers on Xbox, there is kart races on Xbox, but I just think that certain things have certain pulls. But yeah, Nintendo I think will always live off the nostalgia because no one does Nintendo games like Nintendo does them, and it's because 3D World is a good game. Sackboy is arguably a better game, but because it's Mario, that association with Mario, I think it just fits, right? And I don't know why people like that. Like I don't understand why people will look at Sackboy and roll their eyes, and then if you literally just put Mario's face on it, you'd be like, "Oh, this game's great." I don't understand that at all, but it is a thing, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm looking. I think it's like the Super Mario 3D World. Then I think it's like 93. That's insane to me. That is mental. It is not. I'm sorry. It's really not.
No.
It's like an 8 out of 10. It's good. I'm not saying it's bad. But it's like an 8 out of 10. That yeah. How about it's 93?
Right, and then like the original version of 3D World, by the way, everyone hated. Like everyone was like, "That's all right." It was on Wii U. Like when it doesn't fit the narrative of everyone loves the Switch, right? It was okay. I probably still reviewed highly, but like, yeah, it's all right. You know, very interesting. And I think Sackboy is what? Like, is it even an 80?
I'm looking now. It is an 80 dead on.
Right,
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
crazy.
which again is which isn't bad. Like that's fair.
No.
That's fair.
But,
Like it is an 80 game. Like it's not anything special. It's a fun game. It's great in co-op. It's probably fun in single player. The graphics are good. The music's good. Like it's the best Little Big Planet game by a long way. I think the 2D ones just feel weird. They don't have a particularly good physics, whereas this is just a fun game, right? It's a launch game as well, and it's it's very interesting. Like obviously the argument that we always have that Chris has always wanted is Breath of the Wild, because Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom
Or overrated garbage. Yes.
they're not garbage, but they are overrated. Like I completely it fits. I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom fit in the same manner as The Last of Us, because it's like The Last of Us is a solid 8.
I can sort of prove that they're overrated. What's Immortals Phoenix Rising's score on like Open Credit and Metacritic? That game is miles better than both Breath of the Wild and thing because it's made by Ubisoft. It's apparently rubbish, even though it's miles better.
But then like you're saying that snidely because you don't like Zelda, but like we have definitely talked about Ubisoft games that me and Craig have been like, that's great, but because it's an Ubisoft game, it's like no, it can't be. Like like I think Watch Dogs 1 is a great game, but people will turn their nose at it. Like I think Assassin's Creed Valhalla is pretty good. Like we had a great time playing that, and it's
that's pretty good.
like
And then quite like what I played with Mirage. It was definitely like a 7 out of 10 game, but
yeah,
it was a good 7
but
out
it's
of
like
10.
what makes The Last of Us remaster Part 1 that much better, right? Because it's like, oh, the story. Well, every game has a story. The story to Watch Dogs 1 is actually quite similar to the story to The Last of Us minus the zombies. Like it's just one of those. You're like, okay, and like you said, like Breath of the Wild is like. But I think again, it's not just the nostalgia. I think it's what the world you live in. If you're just playing Nintendo, I think you look at Breath of the Wild and it is a 10 out of 10 because it is so different to anything you've played on your ecosystem. Like if you like people, Chris, from the forums that are just that they play Nintendo. So like if you just play Nintendo, I think you look at Breath of the Wild and you'd be like, fucking hell, like this is a proper game. This mind, like it is big, it's open world, I can do what I want, like it's a breath of fresh air, like pun intended. And then be like that, but then equally you can be like us, who are the complete privileged that can sit here and be like, well, I think like I'm like, yeah, Last of Us is probably an 8, because the gunplay is kind of wank. It doesn't do anything special other than a story which is really predictable. But then, like, you could turn around and go, well, Trails of Cold Steel is a 10 because of this, but it's equally a 6 because of this. So it's, yeah, I think as well, like, I mean, this is just a rant at this point. I really wish we could get rid of scores. I really do. I just don't think that they add any value to video
And
games.
it's like because Craig's gonna beat you on Fantasy Critic.
Not even that. Like, I mean, I've already got a win. If Craig gets it, we'll have all got a win. Don't mean anything, does it? It means next year's the decider. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'd honestly rather there was like a uniform to, like, it's literally broken. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally broken. It's not fun. It's fun. Like, that's fine. Like, I just don't. It winds me up when, like, people's bonuses and stuff are literally linked to, like, if a game is an 85 on Metacritic, and it's like, well, it just encourages everyone to make trendy bollocks to hit a score, doesn't it? Like, it just encourages you to be like, well, actually, I'm not going to take a risk and make this fun game about a sack person jumping anymore. I'm going to make a dark, gritty zombie game where you save a child, because, like, every TV show at the moment is that plot, is the Baby Yoda plot and the Last of Us plot. It's everyone. Everyone's got daddy issues. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, you can put up screenshots of 5 PlayStation games in snowy forests, and it's like there was 5 different games, but they all came out within 3 years of each other, and you're like, oh, come on. But then equally on Xbox, you just can't have the buggy messes, can you?
No.
But yeah, that's my TED talk. My TED talk ranting. Hope we enjoyed the rant. But yeah, I'm still loving the PlayStation 5. I'm not going to play The Last of Us though. It's not going to happen.
You should though.
No,
Well,
why?
just watch the show.
I
Just
think even
watch the show.
I think I looked, even the show's like 25 quid on Amazon to
I
buy
don't
that.
know. No, yeah, but I reckon you and Chloe should watch the show together, and I want Chloe's opinion on it.
Nope.
A neutral on
It's
this.
gonna be too scary for Dave anyway.
Yeah, and she's the same. So
Mm-hmm.
she'd be like, why is this so bad? And I'd be like, yeah, I know, right? Why is this not a documentary about David Beckham? She'd be like, you're right. I think the big news this week, Craig, is that I haven't bought Football Manager yet.
Yeah, that is kind of shocking, to be honest. Because
You're actually just going to wait for Game Pass. You can do the sensible thing for once, Dave.
No, because I don't have a Windows PC.
No, of course you don't. Oh, you fool.
So
You fool, Dave.
it'll get bought on Steam, but it won't be. I just don't. I have got too much going on, because you know as well as I do, there is no playing Football Manager for 20 minutes.
Oh no.
Like, if I had Football Manager right now, I'd be staying up till 4 in the morning playing Football Manager, figuring out a way to save Taunton Town's league-winning season.
Yeah, it does look really. What I've seen, like I was watching you work the space, and they started Chelsea with the Your World thing. So they start with £400 million, and like all their like crazy transfers and that they've done and stuff. It's like, yeah, and it's pretty interesting.
It will get bought eventually, but right now, it's like I said, it's one of those games that, like, if there's a week off, I think I've got a week off in December, and my partner's getting her teeth pulled out, her wisdom teeth, so she's going to be bedbound for a week. So she's going to play it because she does have a Windows PC, Craig, and she does have Game Pass, so she's going to play it on
Smart
her
woman.
Windows.
I really think I'm on holiday the week it comes out. So.
There you go. And obviously,
Even like Chris, what have you done? Oh, I've won Ligue 1 and with Lyon. I've won the
I was
Champions
going to say,
League.
like Chris is about to say, it's going to be PSG, then Real Madrid, then Bayern Munich, then Celtic, and then Man City. The most boring 10 years of your life.
No.
God. There is actually a physical edition coming to PlayStation, by the way, which is quite funny. The temptation to go for the platinum, Craig, is next level.
That should be 100 or something, but you need 48 more before you get there.
God, imagine. But yes, that has been the show. Thank you if you've got this far. Comment who you're going to call if you've got this far. Obviously, like I said, we are going to have hopefully, God willing, everything goes correct, a Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed stream on Wednesday, because obviously it's Halloween. So we're gonna do try a little stream, see if the little PlayStation stream works, and see if the game's fun. I'm sure it will be. Obviously we'll have to get all the settings figured out, so I'll have to be sending out dossiers for Craig to figure out what buttons to press on his PlayStation. But yes, tell us what you think of my shenanigans, what you think of all of the games that everyone's playing, and please keep giving us recommendations for games to play, especially on Game Pass and PS Plus, because although we have played a lot of games, apart from Chris, me and Craig haven't played everything. So if there is something cool that's on these services that we don't know about, let us know, and we will absolutely give it a try. But yes, thank you for watching episode 89 of the Potable Gamecast. I will see you next week.
Bye.